Good evening and welcome to the Rahim Show. I'm your host, Ricky Ali. And for some of you who are joining the show via Facebook and YouTube, I want to say welcome. Welcome to the show. Our special edition tonight. We are going to be discussing some national issue. But I will first begin with the heartbreaking news today from Georgia. You know, a horrific situation occurred today at the Appalachia High School in Georgia. And if you have seen the news, um, a 14-year-old crazy, and barbaric human being went on campus today and just did a lot of wicked things. You know, one of the things that I loved about the sheriff when he was making his report, he said, "Love is going to win evil," and for sure. And I'm also using my podcast to extend my deepest condolence to the full victim and also those who are in the hospital right now recovering from that incident. We want to remember them and to the family of the deceased. We want to say our prayers and thought with you all. We know, I'm a father of three. So when I see such a horrific incident occur at a school campus, it sent a lot of message to me as a father because every morning we prepare our kids to go to school, and I believe the family who are the victim today, they themselves too have the same coverage. You prepare your kids for school and you send your kids on a campus knowing that they will return home safely. But unfortunately, one crazy person just go and commit a lot of evil crime and kill innocent people. So I want to, extend my heartfelt sympathy to the two students along with the two officers that lost their lives. Uh, our prayers and thought are with the family and also the 30 people that got injured. We are praying along with them. We're wishing all of them a speedy recovery. What a horrific situation today at uh, the school, the high school in Georgia. I'm still kind of out of word. How this whole thing about gun, violent, and we the government of the United States need to really do a lot more about gun restriction because we see this happening in the past, and now school had just opened, and we see such a horrific situation happening at school campus. So we the leadership need to take a very key note on this matter because these are very critical issue. You don't want to have your kids go to school and knowing that they will return and then something of that such happen. It's very horrific. Um, I can't even imagine, such a bad situation happening on a campus. So I just want to extend my heartfelt sympathy to the full victim, and then along with the 30 people who got injured. My prayers and thoughts are with the family right now. Uh, it's just a sad situation, and two officers had to lose their lives along with two students. So this is not good for the beautiful country of the United States that more people dream to come here uh, to see greener patches. So it's a sad day for the people of Georgia, and I want to extend my heartfelt sympathy to them. But welcome to the show. This is a Rahim show. I'm your host, Ricky Ali, and for tonight we are going to be having a beautiful discussion. Waiting for my contributor, Vanning Samolad, um, to have a one-on-one interaction. But if you want to be a part of the show, You can send me a message and I will send you the invite so you can be a part of the show tonight. We are discussing some national issue about Civil 7. I mean, many of you know Civil 7 play a vital role when it comes to the government. You got fired. I don't want to join the call right now because I'm waiting for my colleagues so we can discuss this. But it's very important that we discuss this because in America, yeah, people are paid hourly. Unlike America, in Africa, especially Liberia that we're going to discuss tonight, people are paid on a salary basis. They are paid after a month, and you don't want somebody to go to work knowing that that person have three different keys to take care of, to pay their school fee. I've been in Liberia and I know how uh, providing school fee for kids is not easy. School fee has gone so high and family struggling to even provide school fees and meet their their daily need. It's a tough situation some family are faced with in Liberia. So imagine somebody goes to work and work over a period of 30 days and then come back home and then struggle to get his salary. It is a crime. It is a crime, and it's also an evil thing. We are also going to share information. I'm also going to share you information about the previous government promises to pay civil servant on the 25th of every month, and that promises wasn't materialized. So I mean, it just happened for 1 or 2 months. I think it was just a matter of questioning words, to just have some people to support the government, but you have to say something and do it and be consistent. When it comes to civil servant, these people, I'm waiting for my colleagues so we can go in depth because I don't want to stop reviewing information right now. But if you're following the show, I see somebody like send a comment. You can share the podcast, make some comment, and also like we highly appreciate your comment. And if you want to be a part of the show to discuss national issue that pertain to our common, denominator, Mama Liberia, uh, this is what we want to see. We want to see a better Liberia. So that's why somehow we are not having these platform or podcasts because we are seeking a job. No, we being in business, we are business people. We are business minded people, and want to see even the business area. We want to see business people, doing well in Liberia as well. So we are not, having our podcast to, because we want a job. No, no, we just want to see the proper thing done in Liberia. So if you want to be a part of the discussion tonight, send me a message, and I would just send you an invite. You don't have to go through any procedure, but I can send you an invite so you can come and be a part of the discussion. So who are civil servants and why are they very important, and why are we discussing civil servant? Over the year, we have seen, something like a cycle of civil servant not getting paid on time, government after government. We have seen that somebody goes to work, and that person that goes to work have family to take care of them. And if you look at in the U.S., yeah, somebody working, on an hourly basis, and they, okay, I think I have my contributor had John. Let me invite him to, yeah, okay, Bonnie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, it's always good to have you here. Can you do the phone in a way that you will have the overlay?
Sure,
Yeah, are you sure? But it's good to
sure.
have you. It's good to have you. Welcome, welcome, Bonnie. We have a lot to discuss tonight. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think that is good. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, sure.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, I was surprised by some of the posts that I saw on Facebook and some of the comment and other things that I saw. I always following things in Liberia. So one
Mm-hmm.
shocking thing that I saw is about people who have been appointed that other people think that they are not qualified for such position for which they have been placed into. Yet, and they are making a lot of money. But these
Mm-hmm.
same people, they get their pay on time, but those who do the day to day work, like the firefighter is also considered as a civil servant. The police officer is also considered as a civil servant, because these are people who protect, like police officer protect lives and property. He had to be in the field there and making sure that he provides security. So how can these people go to work yet over the month, over a month, and then we'll be running behind the pay. We'll be running how to get even the social worker, all these people, all the clerk that work in the different lawmaker offices. These are all people that we are talking about civil servant. So why are we who are civil servant, and why are we trying to discuss about these people? Because these people are important people that made up the the segments of our society, and they contribute a lot more when it comes to making sure that we have a good governance. Good governance. You can have a good governance when you don't have these people taken care of, because like for instance, a police officer, if you don't pay him, obviously he will start to do things that will he will try to do a thing that you will also call it as corruption, because the man will start to collect money. Because take for instance, the man want to carry food put food on your table, obviously send his children to school. So if you don't pay that man, then you open a room for him to do things that are not right. And that's what happened in Liberia, because if civil servants not paid, most of the guys are finding somebody work to do, somebody thing to speed up to process. That's why you see in finance ministry, when you go, they have people don't go directly, they have to go through corner. All the things, these are all form of bribery. People should go in in a straight way to I'm not saying you cannot contact somebody who you see that work in the institution, you confide in to do the work for you. Okay, that alone too can also be a speed of work for you. But what I'm saying is, we have seen over time that people use other people because they want people who are in the system to do some kind of daily deed to just get a work done. And then that is not a way we want to see things done in Liberia. We want to see civil servant receiving their pay on time. Then those are things that will curtail all the different forms of corruption. People will not, police officer will not accept bribery, because what system, there will be a merit system in place where people are able to follow these things, the rule, and they are not able to be able to do anything. Even teacher are also a public teacher, like most of the teachers that teach the University of Liberia, teach public school. They are all civil servant because they are being paid every month. But these teachers, when they are paid well, they won't be able to accept money from the kids, or from the students for grades. At the end of the day, people, it's so amazing that somebody told me that somebody who can graduate from college and graduate with something called BS0. Funny. Have you heard anything about BS0? And I asked the guy, I was so amazed by that until I asked the guy, I said, but what do you mean by BS0? He said, BS0 is somebody who just bribe in school. And then at the end of the day, everything he's supposed to learn in school, he doesn't remember 30% of what he has spent over 4 years, in college for. You know, it could make sense, because it's like, imagine, Vani, you won't want to send your son to school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously your son, you know, is not going to school. When you send him to school, you get on that bus, he leave that, he get out of that bus somewhere on campus and just go play with your friend there. And at the end of the day, all you thinking that you putting that man on the bus, when you come home, he learning something. But knowing that that guy is doing different things, at the end of the day, what you expect? He won't be able to learn anything, right? It's the same way the guy is describing, BS0. Somebody who goes to college and just bribe, bribe, at the end of the day, they get the grade, but they cannot defend the grade. You cannot get A for a course that you can never talk some small thing about. How can you go to college 4 years of your degree, then you don't remember any, you don't remember, let's say, 20 or 50 or 20 or 30% of what you learn over that time period. So that's what the guy said. The guy said there is a possibility that people can go to school and obtain BS0. And that makes sense. I was very amazed by that, and I said, yes. I mean, his acumen, and he was able to defend his acumen and say this. So I felt, yeah. I mean, people would love to go to school and learn something. And then what we are talking about is the issue of bribery, because it's like, if teachers are paid, obviously teachers should be able to have teachers should be people of integrity, people who doesn't accept bribe, because these teachers are civil servant. When they get their pay on time, obviously they're gonna have measure in place that monitor the teacher for not accepting. I was in school. Let me tell you, and one of the things that I love about the United States, you can learn in different form. You can learn, virtually at home. You can be right
Mhm.
here, and the teacher gave you the assignment. And one of the gift that one of the opportunities that I observe about the school in America is, once you attend a project, if you have three projects for a particular course, once you attempt a project, the professor duty is, because he want to provide, he want to make the best student out of you, make you the best student. Because if you don't produce, obviously it reflect on him, because at the end of the day, every student have an evaluation survey that they have to fill. Every course you have a survey about the
Mhm.
professor teaching, how you grade a professor, and how the subject matter was. You have that survey to do, and he himself to have that subject to do about a student. Which one of the students really did well, how well they were able to understand the course. Because if you provide wrong thing that the student failed, they will ask you obviously, why did the student fail. So you see, that's a system in place, and those system help, because if you attend the first project, and then if you score certain grade that the teacher is not certified, he will give you another second attempt, because his goal is for you to learn the material and remain with you, so that when you go out there, you can be able to be proud of yourself and say, oh yeah, I've achieved something. But I was just trying to bring that thing in, because of what the guy said, and how I missed. But funny, it's good to be part of the show tonight. Thank you for joining, as always. It's good to have you. But let's go into the discussion here. We are talking about Silver Seven, and you and I, can bear witness that in Liberia, there are many promises that leadership have made. One, leadership after another have made, to the Silver Seven, and the Silver Seven make the least money in Liberia. Silver Seven make the least money. I mean, some of who work in different things, $25, $30 an hour, and your 1 day money can pay almost like two or three Silver Seven in Liberia, because the people make $100. Some of them make $100. I don't know whether it went up to 150 or so, $100. So imagine somebody making $100, then cannot get paid after 2 or 3 months. I consider it as an evil, because it's like, why would somebody go to work and work over the period of 1 month, yet they don't get the pay, and they still go to work? What do you expect for that man to do? Funny, share your perspective.
That's a, I always have a compassion towards our people because of how they've been treated. They definitely
Yeah,
deserve better, you know. But one of the things I say is our people need to wake up and open their eyes, because we cannot keep re-electing the same people and getting the same treatment, you
yeah,
know. And that's where it stems from. It starts with the leadership of the government, you know. So the individuals that are in there right now, if you look at them, most of them have been
yeah,
recycled politicians. And if our people want to get a different treatment, they have to put different people in position for a different treatment, you
yeah.
know. And that's where it stems from. And I really do feel really bad for them, because it's like I can't imagine working 2 3 months without getting paid. And then
Yeah,
even if they get paid, it's $100. a hundred
yeah.
dollars. That's I can't even begin to imagine how they're even surviving right now on $100. $100. You know.
Yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad. I was reading an article that say money is everywhere, but government is without pay. Government worker is without pay.
Right.
I was really struck by that, because like, that is actually a reality in Liberia. We have
Right.
money. You can tell
Right.
me, say, Liberia. You and I were discussing the other day. Liberia is that we have money. I mean,
Right.
just recently somebody posted one of the somebody from one of the government entity. I don't want to mention name, but they are making such huge amount of money that people are questioning, that saying that, oh, the person not qualified for the position, but yeah, they are making that kind of money. And I tell you, that person will receive the money on time. Once the month end, they will receive the money on time. But yet, Silver Seven, Silver Seven, the man who is working as a firefighter, the man who is working as a police officer, he will be in that street trying to protect, trying to do this one, trying to do the one, trying to make sure that people get the license plate, trying to make sure that people do the right thing. But yet at the end of the month, he will have to be running behind his pay. And these same people, they have family. Let's look at it from the other side too. You don't want somebody who have three kids. The average man in Liberia, if I'm not speculating, right, they have three kids. So imagine if somebody have three kids and they have to put food on the family on the table for the kids, and also pay the children school fees. School fee in Liberia, I don't know how recent you've been in Liberia, but I've been in
No,
Liberia
it's
twice.
expensive, man. It's expensive.
Yeah, been a long time. You got to go back.
Yeah.
So I've been in Liberia like two times in a split of 4 years.
Right.
And I went to my former school. I did one or two scholarships for some student, but I can tell you, school fees, rather, is high, very high. You see, they would do a breakdown of, because they realize that most family don't have the hands, so they do the breakdown in a way that you pay quarterly for the school fee, just to meet family need, because that family cannot obviously pay 50,000 at once. That's a lot of money. Somebody working for 100 IUA, and 100 IUA with the rate is almost like close to uh, uh, you know, uh, 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 I think 60 or 70,000 or so, But imagine somebody paying almost 50,000 just for one person's school fee. So that is a lot of money for you to just pay at once. So family, especially when you have three kids, like you are taking 3 months of your salary, knowing that you need to pay rent, you need to buy food, you need to buy clothes for yourself, you need to eat too on a day-to-day basis. So it's
Right.
it's, it's, it's very rough for our people in Liberia. Go ahead, Fanny.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier too, I really feel bad for the people of Liberia. I really have compassion towards them and their suffering. But it's a suffering that it's not necessary, because the last time we had this conversation on the last show, the previous show, we talked about individuals taking off to go to their farm
Yeah,
and spending $40,000 each individual for their farm break,
agriculture break. Yeah,
agriculture break, right? So that that's just nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. That money can be allocated towards the civil servant. And as
yeah,
a matter of fact, $100 is nothing. They deserve way more than that,
yeah,
because they have families as well.
yeah,
So how can you live on $100 a month when you have kids to feed, responsibilities, transportation to pay for to go back and forth to work? How can you live on $100 a month? So while you have individuals on the other side of the fence taking $40,000 US to go on the farm, you know. So
yeah. Obviously, Vani, it doesn't make any sense for somebody to have an agriculture break and take $40,000, knowing that they don't even have a farm, but they just take that money and just eat it. So
right,
that's what we are saying. We are saying that even if civil servant is making $100 an hour, $100, let's say a month, let them be paid on time, because this will help to also alleviate some kind of form of corruption. Because imagine if the teacher are paid on time, and you have a system in place where you are vetting most of the teachers, you are monitoring them, and they are paid on time. I believe, I'm not saying that corruption is not, all over the world. Even in the great United States, there are corruption. But I'm saying
oh
that
yeah,
you will minimize the issue of some things that we see vividly, you will minimize it, because it's like, you see, I mean, I was in Liberia, a police officer, he just pulled the back that on for no reason. Then asked the guy, said, "My man, you got a put something in my pocket." I was like, If you pull
What?
somebody over, there should be an offense for which you pull somebody over, right? Funny. But how
Yes.
can you pull somebody over just to beg them for small tea? So it just tell you that if that guy is paid, that guy, he won't be able to do, I'm not saying they don't do it.
Yeah, but most
Obviously
likely
some
he will
police,
not do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that at least he will not do it when he get paid because it's like this guy who receiving a pay, he will be taught. There should be training, also when you pay people good money. That's why you see where we have what we call safety meeting to remind you about the company policy and some of the things that if you go contrary to that, you bear the necessary consequences. I don't care how you can. The company can give you several certificate, but on the day you make mistake, you contravene any policy, you get fired. You can be the
100%.
best person said, you get fired. So you see, if you have this kind of system in place where people are paid and they are being, vector, in a way that not that you walking behind them to, but you're monitoring, the system or so, and it helps to curtail some of these bad practices we have in our society, and that's what we want to see for Liberia. But Vanya, I want to read something here that I took down. It's always good to provide information, and I'm also going to share something with our viewer out there about the promises that were made by the previous government about how civil servants were going to receive their pay on the 21st, the 25th of each month. Those promises were just on their ear. They just said it, but at the end of the day, even the previous government, all the civil servant for almost 3 months. We're going to share that and tell you because we are not just saying things because we want to say, but I'm going to share that as well. I got that, yeah, but but let me just read this. This is civil servant work to benefit the general public every day, and it's true. We see the police officer, we see the firefighter, we see the social worker, and there are a lot of people, even people who are working as teacher. They are also, a civil servant. They also, work for the general public.
Hmm.
You see, and then they say civil servants are non-partisan employee who are committed to the public good, and they perform a variety of functions that are vital to the public good. Yes, they perform different function. You have somebody who working with the maybe in the lawyer office who is a clerk, and that person is doing work to make sure that whatever people that is sent to him to be able to tap that people out and provide. So they are performing. They got different function, different area of function that the civil servant perform. So the civil servant, you know, they perform variety of function that are vector to the public goods, like I said. So we'll look at the background of civil servant. Civil servant, the whole idea of a civil servant started in China, in the let's say they call it the during the Qing dynastic, form. It was 2120. Let's say yeah, 221 BC. It started a long time ago. Then it emerged, it gradually shifted to Great Britain. Just a little history about that when you have the imperial bureaucracy that created a condition for distinct civil servant to form. Then they have the imperial academy was established for distinct civil servant to form in 124 BC, blah 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 blah. Then why many times the country globally developed into different systems that went to Europe and Great Britain and what have you. Just a little history, but here is my point. My point here is these people. We have to prioritize these people because these people are mostly the people who do almost all the dirty work.
They do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, the dirty work. They do all the heavy lifting. Yeah, in America, my brother, you see every day there is some kind of government work taking place, project taking place, bridges are being built. They want to have been built. They want. You think Donald Trump himself will leave for his office and can't build bridge?
No.
Or you think Joe Biden will leave for his office or can't, and what did he say and build bridge? No. But if these people are not taking care of it, what kind of frustration is going to go on in this country? Strike and things are going to happen. So these people are paid. Even though I'm not saying America is like Liberia, because yeah, the system is already there. People are paid hourly. There are some other people who are paid, on a salary basis. It depends on the just, structure. But what we are saying, if somebody is being paid on a salary basis, $100 a month, if the person work, let the person get their pay.
Question
And
for
my
you.
point here is, how
Yeah,
the
okay.
government know these employee number of employee that is working, like for instance, in finance bidding? You have a calculation of the number of employee based on the budget allocated for those people to be paid, right?
Okay.
Why then, if these people work, they don't get the pay? Then what is the lapse, or what lead to that particular point at which people work and they don't receive the pay if the budget is there? Fanny, you understand my point, right? So that's the
Yes.
issue we are discussing.
But
That's
quick
the issue we're
question.
discussing.
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
Who determined to pay these people $100 a month, and who determined to pay this government official 20,000 a month?
Well, I think the determination is done by, let's say, by the institution. Like for instance, you have, let's say, a finance ministry, right? Finance ministry, yeah, the finance ministry will look at the budget, because the country come up with a fiscal year budget. It is based on that budget, that they are able to say, oh yeah, you know, they allocate the budget to different, to the various, government agency and institution. So based on that budget, this person is paid this amount of money. This person is paid this amount of money. This person is paid. But civil servant is always considered as a common people. Like
Yeah, but that
the
number
you
that
know
number should be wrong. That number should be wrong and off. You know why? Because even you or me, right?
yeah,
If we hire someone 5 years ago with $100 a month,
yeah,
5 years later we cannot still be paying that person $100 a month.
that's true. Yeah,
You know what I mean? So that number, they need to revisit those numbers and adjust them, because Ellen can't pay them $100 a month. George Weah can pay them $100 a month, and then now Joseph Barker paying them $100 a month. I mean, we're moving forward. The years are going, but how come their
yeah.
pay is still the same?
Yeah, that is a good point, Vani. That is the reason why we are saying that even the amount is small
Yeah,
for civil
yes,
service. The
yeah. The
amount is
amount
small.
need to be
I think,
increased.
I think the amount, but for me, if I wanted to be, for me, if they are, if I had and let's say the authority to come up with something about these civil servants that we are discussing, right? I think over time the money should increase. It shouldn't just be a fixed amount, because civil servant, like we said, they play a vital role when it comes to a government function and all, a variety of issues that is done to bring money, because the civil servant to contribute to why the country economy. Take for instance, if I have an institution and no institution can function without people. Because, take for instance, say you are okay, finally you and myself decide to establish a business. Okay. When will the business become big, you and I would not still like do everything for the business. We gotta hire people, right? If we hire these people, the people we hire, if we better make them happy, take for instance, they will also make us happy. But if we start treating these people bad, then we ourselves we are losing income. You know that, right? It's the same, because these people too, their hands and contribution to the business bring income. So it's the same thing with government. Government by right, these people that are paid $100, they're supposed to make more money so that they will not be able to do anything wrong that would cause our country to obviously go backward. And that's what happened into Liberia, because you have even officers, you have so many officers who are not paid and they are doing wrong, a lot of illicit things. And those are things that we want to curtail. That's why we are discussing the issue of a civil servant, because civil servant should be paid. But my point there is, if we start off by paying the civil servant on time, more, gradually there will be an increase or increment to that salary, because that money obviously cannot, meet the people need over a month time. Yeah,
Right.
Vani.
Yeah. That money is not enough in 2024 going into 2025. You know,
Yeah,
as we all know, globally everything is getting expensive even
yeah,
more, and not just in the United States but all over the world. You know,
yeah,
So these people cannot be having a fixed salary for the next 5, 10, 20 years at a hundred
Yeah.
dollars. That doesn't make sense. In the meantime, you got these government officials making 15, 20,000 a month with no justification of what exactly are they doing to get paid that kind of money. Because it's not, they can't just say, oh, we go make laws. No. If any one of them were to go and get a job at a higher level company and don't perform, trust me, they're not even going to pay you $1,000 a month, let alone 20,000. What are you really doing for that 20,000? You know, there has to be some sort of um, result, a favorable result for the country to justify that kind of pay, rather than sitting down and just talking a bunch of nonsense at the end of the day and just leave. No disrespect to anyone, but that's just, I'm just speaking the facts, because if I sit down and watch these guys speak, it's just like you can even tell by their body language. They're just hoping at the end of the day they go home. That's it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if
I
somebody
mean,
that is very, if somebody that is very serious about building communities and building the nation, their posture is different. They come in on time and they actually do the work so you can see the result in the country. But if you're not seeing the result at all, so everybody's just pending, meaning like they're just sitting down waiting for that paycheck at the end of the month. So they show up, hey, I'm here. Okay, since you're here, here's your check. Now, I guarantee if they were working for a company that was supposed to be paying them 20,000 a month, all of them would be fired by now.
and another thing, Vonnie, to point out is, the government decided to, because the 7-7, most of the time that when they have, like, obviously a part of their money in the meantime, so they did something through the banking system, right? Where like Echo Bank and other bank in Liberia, UBA Bank, they will issue this guy check, the money in advance,
Yeah.
issue him money in advance. Then
Hmm.
the check go through the bank, then the bank collect that check and place that money back with a small interest. I think $10 or $15, different. That will help him because these people. I mean, I tell you, like you and I are saying, to wait for money for a whole month, 30 days, $100, brother, it's not easy.
No, it's not.
That
And you have
that is
family
a
to
that
feed.
that yeah that is too long just for a small amount of money. Not even $200, not even $300, just $100. And imagine I was in Liberia. Transportation costs alone in Liberia is very expensive right now.
Right.
Transportation.
Hmm.
The 2 weeks that I stayed there, there were times where like from let's say from Duburu, you know,
Hmm.
where in my mother-in-law area where I was staying a little bit. From there
Hmm.
all the way to where I would do my late project, I would
Hmm.
spend almost like $700 to $800 to go, and then to come back, I would spend another six or so like almost 1,500.
Hmm.
Equivalent is almost $10 US, maybe $7.50 equivalent. So imagine if somebody's spending less than even $5 or $5 transportation over the period of 26 days, because you work 26 days. And then the rest of the day, that Sunday, Saturday, I don't know what a government agency open sometime, but Saturday, Sunday. So you work 26 day. The 26th day, let's say when you multiply by $5, it's almost like what?
There's your
Five
hundred
dollar
dollars
twenty.
right there.
That $130. You have
That's your
already
money right
spent
there.
all the money behind
Yeah.
transportation.
Correct.
Then what are you going to eat? What are you going to put buy clothes? What are you going to use to buy? What did they say? Pay your children's school fee. So the money, to be honest, is small for our people. Civil servant should be making not less than $200 at least for Liberia. But yeah, again, they would say, oh, the government doesn't have that much money to pay civil servant $200. But
Yes,
then
they
we are
do.
saying here
They
is
do.
if you're not willing to put a mechanism in place where civil servant money can be able to go up to that amount, pay the people on time. Don't delay some other labor. over the period of 30. That's a evil and crime. In America,
It's not.
yeah, I will not go to
It's
work,
not even.
and
It's
then
not even
I
illegal.
that's why you see in every workplace, Vani, you see they have a different bulletin where they have Maryland law, the labor law. If you work and your employer fail why to pay you over the period of that 2 weeks, they have a number that you can call. You can sue that company because why? They don't joke with anything they call labor. Yeah, somebody can work for 30 days and then you don't pay them. You can't delay anybody pay. Even when
Correct.
HR made a mistake to make mistake with some of your hour, you have the right to even question them about, oh, but I worked this hour, I didn't see it reflected or so. One more about us in Liberia that work on a salary basis. Can somebody go to work after 30 days and they can receive the little $100 or 150 knowing that the person have family? That is an evil crime. And what we are discussing tonight is about the importance of civil servant, you know, in Liberia, and why are they so, why they really, need to be paid on time. That's the reason we are discussing issue that has to do with our civil servant, the people who work in different places like fire service. People work in fire service. Why is it like you see the fire service people? The last time we had a discussion about fire service, they're not playing the role. They're not
Hmm.
playing the role. These people don't have equipment. The people, they don't even receive the pay on time. So I mean, if a fire erupts somewhere, obviously the guy said, "Oh my man, even to get my pay, said not easy. I don't want to go call out somebody fire." So all of these things delay. It actually delay, a lot of things from happening in Liberia, and we don't want to see that thing happening for our country. That is why we are saying civil servant must be prioritized. If you can prioritize civil servant, it's just that you are having a company, you are a CEO of the company, you don't pay your worker, you don't expect to have money because these same workers are the one who doing the day-to-day activity of the work that bring income, that
That
make
bring
you
the money.
become boss, that make you get
Correct.
money, that make you receive your pay. Like even the company that I work for, the company I work for, Howard County they have a phone system. Howard County have to why provide them that phone for that year. They have a phone system every year. That phones they can never receive that phone unless we who work with the company perform and provide the services and things that these people that we serve need,
Hmm.
or else we ourselves will not receive money. So it just tell you how important it is to pay people who work, for an institution. Yeah, go ahead, Vanya. I know you wanted to say something.
No, basically what you just said. Our civil servant deserve better. Their pay need to be increased like immediately, and they cannot use the excuse of, yeah, we want to increase their pay, but we don't have money. What about decreasing the amount of money they're paying these guys and take that money and allocate it towards civil servant?
Yeah,
Because if you're living in Liberia, 15, $20,000 a month is way more than enough for you to live on. You can even live on $10,000 a month
yeah,
comfortably over there, let
yeah,
alone 15 or $20,000 a month. Because that's what the civil servant money is. I believe they should even pay them like $1,000 a month each civil
yeah,
servant. Because if someone's making 15,000 and you took 1,000 from them, right? That's 14,000. I'm pretty sure they're not going to die in Liberia because they're making 14,000 a month. But that money needs to be redistributed to the people that are doing the heavy lifting, the
yeah,
people that are out there, the police, the firemen, the school teachers and stuff like that, because those are the people that help the economy run. And without those people, we're not doing anything.
yeah,
Without the civil servant, the
yeah.
government is not moving.
Yeah, even the road construction that we talk about, the
Right.
engineer, the people who are
Right.
gonna do it, those are people who gonna devote themselves and make that road a better road. So if for some reason you don't pay the people on time, you don't expect the people to do and a good job, and the people will sit home. At the end of the day, you don't expect a minister of public work himself, the minister, to come down and say, "Okay, I'm fixing the road today."
Oh, he would never
First
do
of
it.
all, he has the knowledge, but the practical work is done by people who are in the area of what making sure that the work is done good. So I mean, it just sad. It just sad. And then also like we point out, right? The civil servant make $20,000. I was just trying to say 50 to 60,000. I never had my calculator with me, but it's $20,000. $20,000 is small money. It's very small. You know, I'm not saying the civil servant should make $500 or $600. Because library doesn't have that economy to sustain such an amount, because the civil servant are one of the high number of employee in government agency, because obviously you will have like one minister office, you have like 5 or 6 person, and the minister just one, and maybe his deputy, and maybe one or two different director or somebody who close to him or so. But you
But
have seven more.
okay, but here's the thing, not to cut you off. Do you think if the government officials were doing their job, we won't have enough money to pay those people $500 or $600 a month?
We will. We will. We
Exactly.
will.
So
Yeah.
that means that we have to hold them accountable to go and produce. They're not producing. They're
Yeah.
just holding titles. And
Yeah.
those titles are what they're hanging on to get this $15,000 a month, $20,000 a month, but they're not producing. And
Yeah.
if they're not producing, then they need to step aside and give somebody else a chance to go and produce.
Yeah.
Because if they're producing, they'll make enough money to increase the civil servants' pay,
Yeah.
because that's what they're put there for. They are the leaders, right? So therefore, they have to lead. They lead by going and finding money that will come back in, and then part of that money goes towards the civil servant. But if
Yeah.
they're not going out there and finding opportunities and money to bring back, and then they say, okay, well, since we're not doing our job, we're just going to give you $100 a month. That is unacceptable.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm glad that you point out that issue of productivity, right? Yeah, it is. It is true that most of the leaders they have to lead.
Yep.
A true leader, it doesn't prioritize his pocket. He
Mm-mm.
prioritizes those around him, because a leader is somebody who is going somewhere, taking people to him and taking people with him to empower them and make them a better leader too. Because you're not just going to be all about you,
It's not
self-centered.
about
No,
you.
I
No,
mean, it's not
no,
about you. It's
no.
about going somewhere and taking people along with you, making them to a great leader. So I'm glad that you point out about.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break. When we come back, I want us to a little bit chat on the incident today. And Georgia, they you heard about. I don't know whether you watched the news
Was
about
it the shooting?
the horrific situation that occurred on the let's say the high school, uh, uh, Appalachia High School in Georgia, that took the lives of four person, two officer and two student. When we come back, we discuss that. But let's take a break. And when we come back, we will have a little discussion about that, and then resume our discussion.
Keep the vibe. 25. Hustle, gotta get the money. Just the end of the struggle. For better tomorrow.
Forget all the stress, just put in the work. Any day you put in this work you can get. Don't sit and regret, just fight for yourself. Cause life is a battle, we all gotta fight. Everyone is blessed, if only you sweat. Put effort and time, you will get all the best. It's so good to flex, but no one to flex. Don't use all your matter, you take time to get. Encourage yourself, there's no need to beg. The rich man you see today fight for himself. Focus on your left, to win all the press. Better days ahead, never quit on yourself. Nothing for nothing, push forward with strength. Struggle will come, but you just have to stand. I like a man, keep on hustling with sense. Learn from mistake, always focus and plan. Use what you have, do the best that you can. Work to the end, what you put, you must earn. Prepare and learn, success right in your hands. Use all your chance, at the end you will dance.
Hustle, gotta get the money. Just the end of the struggle. For better tomorrow. Yeah, hustle, gotta get the money. Just the end of the struggle. For better tomorrow. Yeah, hustle, gotta get the money. Just the end of the struggle. For better tomorrow. Yeah, hustle. Keep the vibe. Gotta get the money. Just the end of the struggle. For better tomorrow.
forget all the stress. Just put in the work. And DJ, you put in this what you can get. Don't sit and regret. Just fight for yourself. Cause life is a battle. We all gotta fight. Everyone is blessed. If only you sweat. Put effort and time, you will get all the best. It's so good to flex, but no one to flex. Don't use all your matter. You take time to get. Encourage yourself. There's no need to beg. The rich man you see today fight for itself. Focus on your left. The win or the press. Better days ahead. Never quit on yourself. Nothing for nothing. Push forward with strength. Struggle with calm, but you just have to stand. I like a man, keep on hustling with sense. Learn from mistake, always focus and plan. Use what you have, do the best that you can. Work to the end, what you put, you must earn. Prepare and learn, success right in your hands. Use all your chance, at the end you will dance.
Hustle, fight to get the money, just the end of the struggle, for better tomorrow. Yeah, hustle, fight to get the money, just the end of the struggle, for better tomorrow. Yeah, hustle, fight to get the money, just the end of the struggle, for better tomorrow. Yeah, hustle. Keep them vibe.
Yeah, welcome back to our viewer out there. This is the Rahim Show, and I'm your host, Ricky Ali. And I have with me one of my uh, great contributor to this show, Vani Samala. It's good to have you. And if you're viewing the show via Facebook and YouTube, you want to hit the like button, share the podcast, also make some comment. We will highly appreciate that. Vani, welcome back. I was flipping through the news this afternoon. The incident occurred 10 a.m. this morning. You have a big son going to school. Myself, as a father of three, like we live in a society where it's a we live in a perilous time. A lot of things are happening around us every day, and the only thing that can preserve our case is when we pray for them and also ask God and to watch over them. I mean, that's the only thing because, I mean, you don't want to be a father. You after putting your son or your child on the bus, and then you get a phone call and say, "Oh, Ricky, this had happened, that had happened." It was I was very very in tear. I was in tear when I heard that. Especially school had just opened. You know, and a 14-year-old who just took arm and went to a campus to just do a lot of evil things. But I like the way the sheriff, when he was giving his announcement about, the whole situation, how love is going to overcome evil. The society, uh, they were, I mean, they are mourning the two officer, and then also the two students that were killed because four-person was killed, and
Mm-hmm.
then up to 30 person was wounded, and a lot of people are in the hospital. And our prayers and thought go out to to those people. But Vani,
Yes.
imagine such a situation where in your case, it's a heartbreaking situation. So
Yeah.
as a father, I really I really felt so sad. Yeah. So I guess you want to say something.
Yeah. Especially like you say in this country, every time is this is something that's very underrated, is overlooked. But every time we step out there, us and our children, and be able to come back into our homes safely, that's a major blessing. You know, because every time you go out there, you're not guaranteed you're going to come back. And even though this is not a war country or war zone, but sometimes it feel like it. You know, um, I remember a few years back when I was heavy into acting. Um, I play a role as a police officer in something similar to this as well in a movie where it was Columbine shooting, where this little kid, 13, 14 years old, don't know how he got the gun and went to school because he was being bullied and picked on. So he
Hmm.
felt like he should go there and kill everybody, you know. So this happened in real life, and us as actors, we had to reenact this scene. And I confronted this kid in the in the hallway. My scene was as a police officer when the shooting happened. I confronted kids in the hallway and tried to get them to safety. And this happened in it's Columbine shooting that happened. But I will say something. If we are to blame someone for this, it will be the establishment of this country and what they do. Because they have to start with the gun control. Gun control. There's too many guns out in the streets in this country because 14-year-olds don't have credit cards. They have debit cards that's controlled by their parents. So how are these kids getting the gun? And that's the first thing. Second thing, how are they getting the bullets? Because usually the bullets cost more. But again, it goes deeper than just these kids shooting people. It goes to the NRA, the National Rifle Association, having unlimited money to support whoever else is running for whatever position. And once they support that person hand is tied from making a law against gun control in this country. And those shootings, I strongly want to believe that those shootings are not by accident. Because if you pay attention to the shooting, they're consistent. Every period, they're consistent. There's never been a year that kids went to school from open to close without a shooting. Every year there has to be a shooting. So, until they can get the NRA under control, I'm sad to say, but this will continue because it has in 2009, 2010, 2011, and here we are in 2024, and the same thing is still happening.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you point out the issue of control because that's one of the major things that would prevent some of these things from happening if we have that control in place. And then, like you point out, some of these things are actually happening because leadership to play, they play too much politics when it comes to their gun control things because we see a lot of time that we discuss how the vetting process somebody getting gone and then at the end of the day you will see it just die down. But I think this is bringing out closer, and we don't want to see a bad tragedy that will result into a lot of fatality before we can be able. But it's something that as father because man, I got my three beautiful future, and I'm always praying for them. Considering that the family, the victim family today. I mean, they all feel that we're sending our kids to school, and as they go to school, they're gonna return home, and they heard a phone call. Oh, we had a gun shoot today. Oh, this happened. It's very it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And it's sad
Yeah.
that this keep happening like you said. We have to
Mhm.
the leadership have to do something about this and prevent this from happening, especially when school had just opened.
Right.
Now that we have gone halfway of school, but school just opened, and now we're not even in 2 weeks to school opening yet, and such a
Right.
horrible things happen.
And
So
then
on
also,
behalf of this
mhm,
Rahim show, we want to just we know people flip through Facebook and view things, so want to extend our heartfelt sympathy uh, to the lost, to the family member who lost their kids, and also to the two officer who lost their lives. Trying to preserve lives. We want to say we are our prayers and thoughts with them, and
mhm,
also those who are injured and are in hospital. We pray that they will recover uh, quickly. Yeah, I know
right.
you wanted to say something, Vanny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say this too. Um, the amount of deadly weapon on the street in this country, or in the hands of civilians, um, That should not be allowed because the amount of weapon in terms of like powerful artillery that a regular household has, they shouldn't have it because even some of the militaries don't even have uh, um, that kind of power of a weapon. You know, case in point, what happened today? These weapons, well, how are they getting into the hands of regular civilian? I'll give you an example. Um, in Maryland here, right by, I don't know if you're familiar with Glen Burnie. There's a shooting range next to Glen Burnie. You can go there, you pay money, they give you the gun, and you go and practice. For a few years ago, I went there with a friend of mine, just to go practice, and a guy walks in, probably maybe 22 years old, 23, and he had this assault rifle that spits out 1,000 rounds per second.
Wow.
And this is, yes, and this is a regular civilian. He's not in the army. He's not army trained. He's not Navy trained or Air Force. He's not a serviceman. He's just a regular neighbor. And he has this kind of heavy artillery that spits out 1,000 rounds per second. Why does he need 1,000 rounds per second ammunition as a civilian? You know, so I believe that there has to be a point where they have to put restrictions on what type of gun people can have in this country.
Yeah.
Because if a kid is just able to get a hold of a pistol, if he shoots it one or two times, at least people can get to him before he spray everybody else, you know. But if he has the gun I'm talking about, before they get to him, he's already killed 15, 20 people.
Yeah.
And those guns are readily available. You go online right now, you plug in the gun number, the name, and guess what? It's going to show up and you go and buy it. So what I'm saying is the government should not allow people to have certain guns that is not necessary for your protection. Now, I get it. They all say gun don't kill people, people kill people, but they are the same people holding the gun.
Yeah.
So it's almost like oxymoron to say gun don't kill people, people kill people, because these guns don't get up themselves and pull themselves. It's a human being that pulled the trigger, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think certain guns should be allowed for civilian to have it. If you're a military personnel or you're a serviceman or woman, that makes sense, for you to have it because maybe it's needed for your job or your duty. But when it comes to an ordinary citizen, um, you know, and then also, oh, this is a very key point, very important point here. Whenever these shootings happen, the first thing the media does is tell everybody what type of gun the gunman used. And I guarantee you, tomorrow morning you go look for that gun, it's all sold out. People
Mm.
rush to go buy it. So it's something that they don't talk about. But once that happened, the first thing is, oh, the gunman had an AR-15. And tomorrow you go ask for AR-15, it's all sold out. And then they wait another 3-4 months and another shooting. And then the gunman had an AR-15. You go look for AR-15, it's all sold out. So
Yeah.
those kind of those types of
Yeah.
weapons should not be in the hands of a regular people.
Yeah. That's true. And I like the way you mentioned, those kind of weapons should not be in the hands of regular people. And then there should be a very, strong vetting, process when it comes to people, getting these kind of weapons.
You might
And
have, okay, there
yeah, go
should be,
ahead.
but there's not because of
Yeah, I know.
profit.
I know.
lot,
I know.
a lot
I
of these
know.
guys, I'm not going to say it on here, but a lot of these guys, there are places you can go on the weekend and you can buy this gun legally without even them asking you for your ID. That should be illegal to do, but
Yeah.
it's legal 100% on the weekend. You go and whatever guns you want to buy, or how many, you can buy a whole truckload of gun if you wanted to without anyone asking you for your ID. It should be illegal, but
Yeah,
they
it
do
should
it.
be. Yeah, I mean, if that is the case, then there is a problem. There is a problem
Of course,
because if
of course,
somebody can get a gun without even showing the ID or
of course.
without giving a reason for which a genuine reason and then also there should be a background check. One of the things because it's somebody who is buying a gun.
It's a
Maybe
loophole. Yeah.
have an intent, or maybe have some kind of medical problem or so. Because most of the time they will lose some of these gun things. Oh, the person will was suffering
Mental. Yeah.
from
Mental
having
illness.
mental health, knowing that this same person will not even having such mental problem, but yet they just want to commit such a barbaric act. But I mean, we believe that the leadership of this country will take note and address some of these gun situation, so that we can have this kind of thing happening especially when school have just opened and kids are just returned back to school, and such is horrible situation that just took the lives of four uh, good people. I don't know, man. As a father, I'm still, kind of, you know, uh,
Yeah.
confused about how the whole thing, you know, managed to happen. But another thing I want to also say is, I think if we have security at school, there should be some kind of detection if somebody carry gun on campus. Because if there is no detection, somebody just put that. Because I realized there was a gun incident also about somebody who have taken a little small, a rifle on campus. It was in his bag. And how did this person manage to enter campus with that particular thing in his class? You know what I mean, right? There should be, like, for instance, if you buy from some of these stores, and because most of these stores use the barcode system, where they scan the barcode already, it's in the system, and they have a belt, you know, and that belt have a sensor, where when you take something out and you did not ring that thing in the system, then it started to blink that something you took, something you took because of that barcode. You know, if they have, I'm not saying they should have that barcode, but like for gun issue, if they, I
Yes.
believe they can have that kind of system in place. Somebody can just walk. There should be reason why they would, if the person have gun in their bag and going on campus, there should be reason why they carry that. Either somebody have offended them and they want to do harm, that's why they bring gun. And if we have that system in place where, if there is something that would detect, if somebody have gun, and they go somewhere for questioning immediately, because once that detection is done, obviously that door will not open because it said it will signal straight to the control room that somebody have a firearm, in the bed or so they cannot enter. If we have the kind of system, I believe we can have it. This is a great country the greatest country in the world. So I believe we can have the kind of system, and all the things will help. And more so, like we are saying, there need to be gun control. Know who is getting these guns and have a strong vetting system. You can just allow anybody to just get gun. But it's so sad that we are, saying another lives, being lost on this kind of day, especially when kids have resumed school. Okay, Vanny, let's get back to the Silver 7 issue. So I got my hand on a data here, a raw data. But let me share something with our viewer out there. If you're watching the show via Facebook and YouTube, I want to say welcome to the Rahim Show. We are discussing the issue about Silver 7 in Liberia. And we are saying that Silver 7 deserve better. And I want to share something about the previous government uh, making promises to the Silver 7 that they were going to be paid. Okay, let me share this. Okay, I don't know whether you can see that, but that is telling you Joe Weah is making promises, and then also telling the finance minister at the time that Silver 7 should receive their salary on the 25th of every month. If these promises were, kept, and and abide by, then today we're not going to be having such a discussion. The only discussion we're going to be having is how can we add at least small money to Silver 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
But today we see leadership after leadership, civil servant, rear is something that they were owed then for 3 consecutive months, knowing that no one want to go to work over 3 months, yet they don't have pay. At the end of the day, if that person was considered as a police officer, he would not do the right thing. He would try to do some kind of form of corruption just to get money, to put food on your table, and to also feed his family. So I don't know whether you see that, but that's just a screenshot of something that I got from the let's say the news back then when Joe were in power. Those are promises he made to the civil servant. But this is the data that I have here, right? Um, it has to do with the average salary in Liberia. Okay, it's the average. It's in Liberia. The average salary is reflective of the nation's status as a developing country, with the economy that is still a steady path to recover from the years of civil war. Every time we attribute, things to civil war that happened 14 years ago, long time ago, Liberia always, attributing, things to, they civil crisis. Oh, civil crisis, civil. So we look for way to make these projections so that, it can fit in our, in our system so that we can be able to, lie to these civil servant or to these common people that, oh yeah, because of this, that's why we are trying to work on this. We are trying to work on that. But yet, money is in Liberia, but what? Money is everywhere, but what? Government official as a government as a civil servant are yet to be paid. So they say the average salary
The
in Liberia
war.
varies. The average salary in Liberia varies. I can't be funny. The average salary in Liberia varies depending on factors such as industrial location, experience, education level. Okay, we agree. As per very report of labor statistics, the average monthly salary hover around $30,000, which is close to $150 in the US, depending on the rate, because the rate is like, let's say, 200 per dollar. It's $150, obviously. So the rate have changed. Every government come with the way to put, infuse money in the economy. It also help to, make the rate, also offset the rate or even increase the rate or so. So they said the average salaries of Liberia when converted in the US dollar, considering the exchange rate fluctuation, like I said, stand around approximately 150, close to 200 per month. For many ordinary Liberians, the exchange rate calculation is based on the rate of the early 2023 through a continuous shift in currency value. Like, we talk about that. That the exact figure is in US dollar can exchange. Despite a low average monthly salary that an individual, in highly skilled professional or high ranking position, especially within the private sector or NGO, can earn significantly than the national average. So somebody who work in NGO or in the private sector make more money than somebody who is working in the government. We know that happened too sometime in America. Private company pay more money than people who work, in the government.
Yeah.
We know that, that is
Right.
obviously happen.
Hmm.
Okay. Then it's a factor that influence the salary. There are several factors that influence the salary. Economic, sector, education and skill, experience, geographical location. Like I said, it depends on the company, like the ministry budget. I tell you, Ministry of Labor, pay some of the people, like some skilled worker more money. Let me say less money than Ministry of Finance, because finance, that where all the money come. So they need more people that that have skill. I'm not saying that on the average, like civil servant doesn't make the same amount of money, but they have some other people who have skill that make higher depending on the area because of the budget. So those are influence, those are factors to the influence. Foreign investment, government policy, labor market dynamics, inflation or cost of living. So the minimum wage here we can assume in Liberia is 5,000. The minimum wage is 5,600. According to Diesel, it's a 5,600 minimum wage. So we mean just if somebody working like janitorial or cleaning something, That's the minimum amount they can make, 5,600. Imagine that, brother. If somebody making 5,600, that's a very low amount of money that can't even spread out over your transportation over that period of 1 month. So yeah, a lot of things you have to reflect on too. So I guess you wanted to say something. So higher paying occupation is like medical professional, like doctor, mining engineering, banking manager, legal professional, telecommunication engineer, senior government official. Those are people who, like they say higher paying occupation. So those are people who make more money. So meaning that those who are civil servant doesn't, necessarily make. I'm not saying that government officials are not also considered civil servant, but like common people who work, like the firefighter, somebody who work, as a police officer. We're not saying the police director don't make more money. He's considered separately. He's a civil servant, but he's considered separately because he's a higher, let's say he have a higher occupation, so he earn higher. So and let's say annual average wage growth, you know, they talk about post-conflict, let's say some of the factors that affect annual average wage growth is post-conflict economic recovery. Every day we are using post-conflict economic. What happened since, I don't know, 20 or 15, 20 years ago? We are still using post-conflict economic recovery. So, Vani, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We keep mentioning that, oh yeah, Liberia is just from war. Liberia is just from war. We are in a post-conflict recovery, state. We can't keep using post-conflict recovery state, knowing that we get all the money. How can imagine, somebody who has served in the government, right? And the government print a lot of money. They print a lot of money. Go low, $2 or $3 million get missing, $4 or $5 million. How did the money manage to get missing? How all these money managed to get missing? And why are some government official making higher money? Receiving a check, receiving some free things, and so how are they getting all the money when other civil when we are talking about civil servant, yeah, that can receive that pay? So, Vani, I know you want to say something, but let keep
Okay.
talking this thing because it's very important for our people out there, so that people can know that we are trying to address the issue to the government, Jose Yoma Bwaka and his team, that they should find a way to actually make sure that these people get their pay on time. Like from this report, they are making 150. I was thinking they were still making $100 at the time when I was there, but now that they're making 150, what can they do to make sure that these people receive their money on time and receive their pay, at least to be able to sustain their family and be able to take care of one or two things that they need? Go ahead, Vani.
All right. A few key points I want to make here when you stated that they're using the war as a crutch, as an excuse. The war has been over since 21 years ago, not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, not 15 years ago, 21 years ago. That's a long time to be still using the same old template of, oh, it's because of the war. The war has
Yeah,
been over 20 years, 21
yeah,
years. We're almost in 2025. It's going to make it 22 years ago. That's a long time. So if you had a kid in 2003, that kid is going to be that kid will be 21 years old this year and 22 next year. That's a long time to make a difference, to
yeah,
adjust. You know, that's one. Two, they mention education, right?
yeah.
Which is very important, by the way. But they mention education. What kind of education are they talking about? The one where they're intelligent enough to manipulate the people and steal money, or they're talking about the education of, no, seriously, because
Yeah,
those guys that have degrees are not implementing what they have learned. Because if they
that's true.
did, we will see the country advancing forward. But those things are not happening. So what kind of education are they talking about? Be educated enough to be sneaky and stealing money without being caught? Is that the education they're talking about? because the real education that is very important, they're not implementing it in the system in Liberia. That's why we're not going anywhere. We keep going backwards. Here it is, we're in 2024, and we don't even have consistent electricity in the whole country. Come on, man. It's 2024. Why we light on, light off, light on, light off, light on, light off? Why are we still
You
doing
know,
that? We did.
let me add something, Vanny. I'm glad that you mentioned about the whole thing about education, and I want us to discuss something a little bit further when it comes to that education, something and how some of these guys use education, but then at the end of the day, when they are given the opportunity to work in government, they don't perform or they don't do well. When I was back home before I come to America, there was a guy who had a very unique discussion at the University of Liberia, and he discussed something that he mentioned about functional illiterate. And I asked him, what do you mean by functional illiterate? He said, for example, you see a place on the wall and it said, do not pee pee, right? And you see somebody who have a coat suit, dress up well, and you see that man, probably his occupation, he's a band manager. He goes right there and see that thing, do not pee pee, but yet he sit right there and pee.
MP.
He read that, but yet
Yes.
he peed. So, and then I told him, he said, yeah, you're making a sense, but what are you into? Okay, it's the same thing with our Liberian government, right? A lot of people that they appoint, most of the people that they appoint, they've been to the US, and most of the, I know a lot of, young people too, that I can actually confide in, some of my, great friends or so who are working in the government. I believe they will do well. But I mean, a lot of people who have been here and they have seen life and they have seen how things are done here. But yet, when they go to Liberia, you know, uh, they tend not to do exactly what they are, they were being, like the intention they had, you know, you know, and somebody once said that time is not refundable, so you got to use time with intention, you know, because, like, for instance, you have the opportunity right now to do well. Government has given you the chance to say, okay, I appoint you as a minister. Try to make a mark, because time is not refundable. Because and that's government when it comes to power. You know that if you don't do well, obviously that meant bringing somebody, to be able to take the position.
Replace you.
So
Yeah.
that is why even before our discussion, I discussed something about skill. You know, a lot of most of these people when they are in government, they feel that government after government, they just want government position. They want government position. So they don't familiarize themselves with different skill set. Like learning different things while they are kind of places. They don't learn different things. So at the end of the day, when you leave government, the only position you want to get in government. So you see that there are a lot of government officials, even lawmakers, who make money when they were there, but today they are broke. They can be on Spoon TV causing noise, making a lot of noise because why? All they want to do criticizing government after government because why? They didn't make use of their time. They were not intentional about the position at hand, doing well, making the mark, and also learning something new. So you see, that's one of the problems we have in Liberia. Most of the people who are appointed, they will start with that, oh yeah, I can do this. Oh yeah, I will do this. When you appoint me, I will do that. And they be in the state here, well, they see how things are done, and most of
Mhm.
the places people have worked, and you see the perform. I mean, in America, yeah, I'm glad that most of the places people where they have camera monitoring you. If you don't work, that's why I'm saying you can, if you can work somewhere and the person can recognize, if the company can recognize you 5, 10 times, or you make one mistake, my brother, they fire
You
you.
go. You go.
You go.
I
The people
listen.
don't
I
joke.
hire a
They
girl.
don't joke. And
I
secondly,
hire a
even if
girl.
something happened to your family, I come in funny. If something happened to your family, the people don't want to know. You can be there working 20 years. And something were to happen, my brother. And you say, oh, I go and leave. Something happen, you don't come back. They're looking for your replacement right away. The people don't want to know whether anything happened to you. They're like, we are sorry this happened. But the people want to work to go because why? If you can do the work, they're finding a replacement very soon. So you see, go ahead, Vanny. I know you want to say something. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, you're right because I hire a young lady to do a simple task for me. Very first day, And the task was very simple. I have my customer database. All I told was take it from the hard copy and transfer it into the digital side. That's all she had to do. So rather than her doing exactly what I told her, take the customer information from the hard copy, transfer it to the digital side, she proceeded to take the customer's hard copy information, which is the company's name, phone number, addresses, how many pallets they bought, and the consistency of them purchasing the pallets.
Wow.
And she started to put it in her phone, in her
Oh wow.
personal phone. And so when I walked back in, I saw her and I asked her, I said, I'm sorry, what are you doing? And she said, oh, I'm putting it in here and then I can email it to you. I said, but your phone is not company's phone. Why are you using your phone? And she had to go. Literally right then and there, she had to go. Because she asked me, is it okay for me to put these companies' phone in my personal phone? I would have told her no. But she didn't even ask. She just took it upon herself and put it in there. And that has to go. That's what I'm saying. The accountability, right? And doing the job according to like the instructions. These guys that are in power in Liberia, none of them are doing that. Because if they were, they will all be fired.
Yeah.
All of them will be fired because they don't follow instructions and they don't do what they're supposed to be doing. You know, everybody just show up, sit down, cause noise, get paid. Go back
Yeah.
home, come back the next day, sit down, cause noise, and get paid. That's it. Most of
Yeah.
them don't even go into their regions, their counties, and find out how the people living, how they eating. They don't check on those people like that, you know. But yet they're getting paid $15,000 a month. I really don't understand what's going on in Liberia.
Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
see the justification for any one of their pay. None of them deserve that money right now. I can understand if they were producing, you know, bringing money into the country, bringing investors in, creating jobs for Liberians, paying the civil servants a lot of money, not a lot, but at least $1,000 a month, at least because I know they can do that. If that was the case, yes, please pay these guys 15,000 a month, pay them 20,000. They deserve it because they've been hustling for the country. Right now, right, not to get off topic, but right now, Burkina Faso, um, Senegal, they just launched their own satellite, their own
yeah.
satellite in space. Which one of the Liberian government officials right now even thinking, let alone acting on us launching a satellite into space for better internet connection?
we have not even imagined that yet, sir, brother. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would take a long time to think about
But
it.
then what's the
Uh,
justification of paying these people any money? Why are we paying them $15,000 a month, 20,000? What is the justification? You see, there has to be, right? You hire someone, as in the company hired them because they're civil servants as well.
yeah.
When they come in, they're supposed to come in for a specific reason. That specific reason is if you have a job title as a minister of this, you're supposed to do that work. So we can see the result of what the country put you there for. But if that result is not coming, why do we still have you there? Why are we
Yeah.
still paying you 15,000 a month?
Especially like what I read about, most of the time they say, you know, uh, post-war conflict, recovery things, and so they keep reflecting about post-war conflict. Liberia is still recovering. Liberia is still recovering when we have, let's say, government after government that stole all the country resources, the money that you say Liberia is still recovering from post-war or so. I mean, it's
You know,
it's like you're making mockery out of
yes,
the country
exactly.
and the people. I mean,
Correct.
you don't do, yeah, you
They
don't do
are
that.
they are making they are making fool out of the people. They're making mockery out of the people simply because of the sheer ignorance of our people
Yeah,
or not knowing better. So they're making mockery of our people, which is not right because we're all born in Liberia, regardless of where we are now in America and all that stuff. At the end of the day, we're all born in Liberia. We're Liberians. We're supposed to be proud of where we're from. We're supposed to make it better for us and the future generation coming behind us. But we can't go there and make it worse than it was before. So what about the others coming behind us?
Yeah.
What kind of life do we expect them to live?
Yeah. Because
You know,
no one can make Liberia better except we ourselves.
except
So
us.
yeah,
Exactly.
except we ourselves. Even in America, yeah, no one can make America great except the American himself. And
And
that's what the
which they
people,
do.
yeah.
Which they
That,
do.
I mean, yeah. And that's what happened here. You see, much as you see a political difference between the Republican and Democrat, but at the end of the day, these guys in the House, they will pass something and they will come to one agreement at the end of the day to have that thing effective, have that thing done. That's how it should be. It's not about small country like Liberia having, I know, up to 20 to 30 political party. I mean, that's just a
Yeah.
greed. And
Yeah.
that is so sad for a small country like Liberia. But Bonnie, let conclude our show tonight. I think we have a great time. So what would you like to say when it comes to the civil servant, especially if a minister of this particular government were watching our show right now, knowing his responsibility and his function in that area, to make sure that he perform whatever task he out to do in that
Speaking
ministry. So what would be your engagement to the government right now? What can you say to President Joseph Yuma Bwaka, when it comes to the civil servant plots?
gentlemen, step up your game. That's all I can say. They need to step up their game. Other countries that are way younger than us, other leaders that are way younger than us, are doing far better than us when we're the ones supposed to be leading them. They're supposed to look at us as the light that's leading the way. Because at one point Liberia was the light that lead the way for Africa, especially West Africa. People used to come to Liberia to come go to university to get their degrees. And here we are in 2024, and all of these countries are stepping up and they're doing for their people. And we're still sitting behind them. What are we waiting for? So my message to the government: step up your game, and including Joseph Boakai, step up your game. I know they say, oh, it's too early. He just got there and stuff. Step up your game. Because when I talked to him in 2012, he predicted it. He said, my son, I'm going to be a president. When I be a president, I want you guys to come home and help, which is great. Okay. But the people around him right now, all of them need to step up their game.
Yeah.
They cannot sit back and let other countries that were well over 100 years older than stepping up their game and improving their country for their people. So my message to the Liberian government, all the government officials, step up your game. This is 2024. We're almost in 2025. Gentlemen, you got to step up because you can do it. Step up. It's not all about you anymore. It's about us, as in Liberia, everybody in Liberia. And thank God we're not a big country. We're what,
Yeah.
45 square miles, the whole country?
Yeah.
I mean, we can't put our brains together. Liberians that are very smart, we can put our brains together and work together to develop that country. It shouldn't take us that long. So
Yeah.
if we,
You know,
if 1 second, if we started 15 years ago, right, and just do what's supposed to be done, trust me, we'll be like 50 or 60 or 70% there already.
I remember during the Allen government time, they have their budget that they have what we call fatality mortality, and they have like I think up to $13 million for that. After the government assess through the Ministry of Health that women who are giving birth, to children, because of some poor health, and malnutrition were causing a lot of, like mortality rate high because, for instance, when people go to the hospital and because the mother isn't eating well, the household now, and she's not eating well, and then also giving birth, birth on the she would bleed a lot, and then the baby would go on critically. At the end of the day, they lost it, So they had the budget, in place to reduce that from happening. That is to improve that particular area where people can get prenatal. Like most of the women when they're pregnant, they get them prenatal, and they go for treatment every time when they're pregnant. All the things to check the baby heartbeat, to check the different you know,
A little
body
different
fluid,
vital signs and stuff.
the
Yeah.
body fluid around the baby, because the
Right.
baby, you got to drink a lot of water when you're pregnant, because obviously everything you eat, the baby to survive from that. So all the things were helping to reduce, that, fatality mortality rate. But guess what? That money they had for that things, it just went no accountability. Yeah, no accountability at the end of the day. And we don't want to see these things happening. We want to see a government of transparency. When they place something in the budget, let them do whatever, they place that particular thing in the budget for. Because it comes to me, it comes down to what I consider, implementation visibility. This is a word that one guy who worked in project management came up with. And he said, the reason why I'm saying implementation visibility is more African countries suffer for this particular, implementation, let's say policy, because for instance, if you give somebody $5 million to erect, a university, you will see that guy. He go and get he got the plan of that university. He will go and look for a cheap contractor. He will spend like 2 or 300,000 and be enjoying the other money. Then the contractor will be constrained with a budget that is used to build such a huge thing that is presented to them. They will go and look for cheap product, and they go and build. At the end of the day, that project will not be visible, visible in the sense that they will just say, oh, we run a budget, the money could not make it. Then they find another way. Because what? Obviously, you cannot eat money for something, because then that particular thing will not be implemented. It will not be
Correct.
seen visibly. So that's what the guy was saying. Project implementation visibility. More African countries like these things because what? They don't want project to be visible. Like they give the money was used for its internal purpose. Then people are here eating the money. At the end of the day, what happened? You don't have the project being done the way it's supposed to be done because what? Somebody over the project want to get a cut or so. And we don't want to see that thing happening. So I want to use my own voice here to be able to call on the government. If you are watching, some of the ministers that I know, if you are watching this show on Facebook and YouTube, I want to say you need to step up your game, like my brother have said, Vanim. We need to do more. More need to be done in Liberia. You've been in America here. You have seen the life here. You have seen things. And some of the guys who have pointed there, they have seen things in Liberia. I mean, they have seen things in America. Please, if you are given a chance, do well, perform, do well, and also use the opportunity to empower yourself. Don't just think that I know, own a government job. After this government, you're gonna get government job. You're gonna get government job. Learn something. Learn skill too. Learn something. And if you are carrying money to your farm and getting 40, 50,000 dollars for no reason, I tell you, Mr. Joseph Yuma Bwaka, you need to reduce the issue of agricultural break amount. Nobody should carry any amount of money, and it shouldn't even be more than $500 if they are going on agricultural break in Liberia. Because looking at Liberia economy, $500 is a lot of money. So nobody should carry even 2 or 3,000 dollars, even $50,000 on agriculture break, knowing that they don't even have agriculture break. So that is just a nonsense. And I think we need to get rid of some of these things, some of those petty, crazy things that just
Yeah.
take our money and they
Hmm.
use it for no reason. We need to get rid of some of these things and focus on how we can be able to build back better, and also pay our civil servant on time and pay them well. So
Correct.
I think that all I can say to our people out there who are watching. But Vani, thank you always for coming on the show. And I want us to actually discuss something maybe this weekend about that post office things. I want us to discuss it because I got a friend who worked at a post office. He said he watched the show when we were just talking small thing about that zip code thing. He said he was kind of interesting, about us coming with that kind of thing. And he said it's a good idea because he worked at the post office and he doesn't see, you know, anything that's being done about the post office, and he see that he go online and see how the postal system in America is done. Some of the thing, he gets so excited about how people are doing well when it comes to the postal system. But in Liberia, we people just sit and they don't even care how they can be able to. And this team bring a lot of money to the economy. We don't want to do anything about it. So he said we should discuss it. And when we discuss it, I should let him know if he have the chance, he will come on. If not, he will share his comment, and perspective if we discuss that. So I just wanted to discuss, something about our postal system. I guess maybe the people watch the video, Liberia people in bed right now. We are also we're about to go to bed, or it's in the morning in Liberia,
Hmm.
but people are still sleeping. But I guess people watch these, things and they flip through with some of the things that we are discussing. We want to see a better Liberia, and that's why we are having this kind of productive discussion, because we want to see the better thing happen in Liberia for not us, because we already, groom, even though we still have time, we still have life to, live, but we want to see it better because our children growing up, that one day they will want to go see Liberia and say, yeah, this is our father country. We have come to see, our fatherland or so. So, Vanny, thank you as always for being here and for your contribution. As always, I always appreciate the support and also your contribution. Thank you so much, Vanny.
If I
Yeah.
may say something real quick before we
Yeah,
go,
go ahead. Go ahead.
um, to all the Liberians in the diaspora that are watching, go and start a business. You need to start a business. The 9 to 5 is great, but the business is better. Go start a business. Go start a
Funny,
service.
funny.
Yes,
I think I remember you talked about that the last time. Can we discuss that real good so that more we can encourage our Liberian people in the diaspora and other people so that
sounds good.
we can have a discussion about that, because I think it's very good. I mean, even the thing you share with me myself, I think I was really touched by some of the business idea. I think it's a good things for to discuss, because more Liberian here, they just work and get money and buy a lot of material things, and so they don't want to invest. And as a part, something that will in the long run that will really benefit more Liberians. So we can have a good discussion about that when we discuss our show, Let's Talk Business. How do you think? What do you think, Radham?
Sounds good. Sounds
Okay.
good to me.
All right, man. Thank you,
Okay.
Bonnie,
All
for
right.
always being part of the show. Good night, brother.
I'll send you the bill later, okay?
Okay. uh, well, folks, that was the voice of Vonnie. He's a major contributor to the show. And, we are excited to have him always here to share his perspective. All we want to see is just a better Liberia. And for some of you who follow the show via Facebook and YouTube, I want to say thank you for always tuning in to this show. I'm your host, Ricky Ali. As always, until then, we will see you next time. Bye for now. Good night to everyone.